Am I in a position where God can speak to me, or I'm just running around? Yeah, I was pretty much that person. I was running around. Then I was like, no, I need to stop. I need to sit down, and then I need to listen to God. Ask Him direct question, right? And wait. Don't ask the question and leave or go to do your things because he didn't respond in the first 5 seconds. Ask the in question and pray in tongues or start to worship and spend at least, I'm not saying a lot, 10-15 minutes, really. No, that's all he needs. And also, God doesn't compete with the noise. He waits for your attention. He's not gonna scream above it. Majority of the time, when it's just like about wisdom and everything, he just waits for you to search for him and making silence, and then he's gonna speak. If God is always speaking, why do I feel like I can't hear him? You are not too far, you are just too surrounded. And today I will show you how to quiet the noise and hear his whisper. Hello everyone, I'm Giuseppe Quarata, the founder of Quarata Consulting, Unlike Marketing, the creator of the Prestige Business Evolution System. And today we're gonna challenge another topic that, as you see, we are kind of like in a flow of, the topic pretty much lately has been like hard season, the point where we struggle, with all everything is changing around. I think was the right things to speak about. But today I want to speak about why I cannot hear God. If God is always speaking, why do I feel like I can't hear him? And that's something that happened to a lot of my friends. I had the same time, my wife had the same, and everyone struggled with clarity, especially in a noisy, overstimulated world. You know, uh, and that's not weird. I mean, a lot of time is not that God is not speaking; it's more like you're not really listening. I mean, you are there. You're like, "Hey, God, I want to hear what you have to say," but in reality, you don't. Does it make sense? I'm trying to tell you what happened to me, right? To my wife. It's there is so many things going on in our life. We just had a kid, business was growing, but at the same time it takes more work and everything. I want to be able to make more money. I had employees and I was pushing. And at the same time I was like, hey God, what I should do here? And then pushing again. Did I give time to God to respond? Did I really sit down and be like, God, I really want to listen to you? That's what happened. Same thing with my wife, with having a son, she had that's a full 24/7 work. And, okay, he's not sleeping. I need to give food. And, first son and everything, you also had to get used to with that. You cannot really stop. And the fact that obviously you are still hoping to be able to listen to God, even if you ask something and you give him 10 seconds to respond. But also time, the relationship with God is more I would say it's more I would say Italian style. I'm from Italy. We don't normally if we decide to meet and to speak with a friend, we don't do that just randomly for 10 seconds. We either take our time and we're like, hey, let's go get a coffee and let's sit at the coffee shop and discuss, or we don't. We don't really if I see you walking the street, it's just hey, how's it going? Good, bye. It's not really a place where you spend time. But if you normally want to really spend time with a person, then it's oh, let's get a pizza. Let's why on Saturday we don't go eat out? We get some pizza and then we can speak. Even with my friend, there's a friend when I went back to Italy in December, it was the same. It's yeah, we met at the gym, we work out. The gym is not the place we speak sound, but we work out. But then the really talk came out later because we went out. After gym we went get a coffee and we sat at the table and we could we spent an hour speaking and everything. And I think God is more that type of relationship than I think the American style where I can tell you everything in 5 seconds here on the street or whatever. But just because we need to get done, we can all waste our time. There's things we need to be get done. God is not like that. That's my experience, and I spoke with other people. And if you're here and your question is if God is always speaking, why do I feel like I can't hear him? If that is your question, I'm pretty pretty sure I'm the one that said the right things here. God is more like Italian style. We sit at the bar, we sit at a coffee shop, we drink like some coffee, and we speak for an hour. That's what he wants. He wants an encounter with you. He doesn't want like, hey, good to see you, bye. That's not how God speaks, and that's what happens sometimes when there is so many things going on in our life. Like there is so much noise because like, oh, we need to get this done, and my son has this problem, my daughter has this problem, my wife, my husband, and I'm like, and I cannot sit to have an encounter with God because you need to make time. That's what I have to learn. Okay, it's not that these things are things that happen to me and to my wife, and we had to learn this. Like, I need to make the time. I need to make the time in the morning where I'm going out for a walk for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 20 minutes. But I make time, and that time is the time where I walk and I'm trying to speak with God, have communication. Sometimes I need to make more time. Easter, I had to make a lot more time. I had to go for like a 40 minutes walk in the morning, another 30 minutes walking after lunch, and another 1 hour walking later in the afternoon. I had to make multiple times because I need God. I need to hear Him, and it's like instead to keep asking me like, where are you God? Where are you God? I was like, where am I? That's the real question. Where I'm standing? Am I in a position where God can speak to me, or am I just running around? Yeah, I was pretty much that person. I was running around. Then I was like, no, I need to stop. I need to sit down, and then I need to listen to God. I don't like to sit down, but I went for a walk. Like, this is another way. I did that. I grew up in this way. This is the way I grew up. Like, a lot of times I would go for a walk either with my mom, my father for 2 hours, 3 hours. We would spend time like discussing, pick up asparagus or mushrooms. This time during Easter is the perfect time for asparagus in Italy. But anyway, like, that's the way we do. I grew up walking. Like, while I walk, I can speak with people, and I enjoy that. And that's how it works with kind of like, I took that with God. I like, it helps me to disconnect with what's happening in the world, because like I cannot do anything else. I don't have my laptop with me. There's no one else around me, and I can just spend time with God speaking. That's what I like. But if we look at the Bible, we can see other places where this is really clear. First Kings 19:12, it says, and after the fire came a gentle whisper. God didn't shout, He whispered. Like, if you read, you can read all the verses, but like, that's the thing. He doesn't, like, he went there like where Elijah was trying to looking for God and different things, and everything was loud. But in reality, like, God didn't come to any of the loud things. He came to the whisper. He whispered. Or John 10:27, my sheep listen to my voice. I know them and they follow me. God's voice is relational, not just instructional or transactional. But this word is more transactional. We do transaction. We meet each other only for transaction. We don't meet each other for relations anymore. Where God is still the same, like in Hebrew say it's the same like yesterday, today, and forever. Yeah, even for that, He's a relationship. Like, He always been looking for a relationship, and He might spend like 80 years in relation with you before He give you something. But like, for example, Abraham, like, he spent tens of years before he got the son, because like God was really building the relationship first. And Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is the starting point of clarity. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing physically, like body. It's more like relax, like trust, listen to God. Like, don't trying to fill up your day with task, but actually like take a moment, take an hour, things where you can just sit with God and speak. And that's I think it's like an important part of the day. Let's look some of the things that could be the reason in your life that you cannot hear God. The question is, why can I hear God sometimes? Overload. There is phones, social media, advice from everyone except in God. Like, you're going from one mentor to another, from one person to another. Mentor are not wrong. I love mentors. I have a mentor, but they're not God. They're not speaking for God. You can speak with Him. That's why Jesus came, because you don't need a prophet speaking for you. You can speak with Him. And then there's another side. It's like a lot of time is the fear of silence, or even equal self confrontation. Some people have the fear to, like, if they stop speaking or they stop doing things, they can hear themselves, and they can now see the situation they're in, and they don't like what they see, and they get they get scared. They get this fear, and they want to run away. And but like that's could happen in the beginning, but if you stay long enough, you can start to hear God, and God is gonna take away all the fear, because love casts out fear. And that's what God is. God is love. How can I encounter God, right? Where I can go? Like, if you don't know what to do in that time, you're still, you can go to His Word. You can go and read the Bible. You can just rest. You can go for a walk, pray in tongues, listen to worship music, praying, praise God in your worship, right? And do this like again and again and again. You can find wise people that what they're gonna tell you is pretty much what I told you. They're gonna tell you, like, if you find wise people, they're gonna tell you, yeah, you need to rest. There is a point where you need to rest. You need to stay still and just listen to God and stop speaking, stop doing tasks. How, like, you can take this with you during the week or during things. I would say one things, big things that I like to do is make a stillness a practice. Practice to not do to do nothing, to sit on a couch with your wife, or just speak with her, or like even go for a walk for 20 minutes every morning. It's actually, you can get to, it's also good for losing weight, but in general, just go for a walk, spend time speaking with God, relax, like, or even on the couch on your office, like, can you stay 5 minutes, 10 minutes without looking at your laptop, looking at your phone? Fast from the noise. Like, we always fast from food, but like now we have another things we should fast from. It's noise, social media, right? Media, TV, and other things that they are taking too much of your attention. Ask him direct question, right? And wait. Don't ask the question and leave, or go to do your things because he didn't respond in the first 5 seconds. Ask the him question and pray in tongues, or start to worship, and spend at least, I'm not saying a lot, 10, 15 minutes, really. No, that's all he needs. More than 30 seconds. And journal your prayers and impression. Yes, write down everything that you're praying for and you're believing for, and the question you have for God. Because, like, as the answer came, you can write them down. And sometimes answer long. I had some question I asked like a few years ago, and I got reply like this year. It's like, but I remember them. Like, Holy Spirit reminded me of that questions, and I was so happy to finally have the response. And it finally took like over a year, 2 years. It's okay. It was, I mean, it's probably the right time. It will means that I need today more than I needed that time. Or probably I could not get, maybe he tried to give me the response at that time, but I could not get it. Yeah, if you're always listen to everyone, you will never recognize the one, you know? And silence is not empty, it's full of answer. Like, silence is full of answer. I watched this show and of detective, and she was loved. Like, I was started sitting how amazing it. Many times she would just like ask questions to people, and people would lie to her. She would not reply. She would just keep staying silent and look them in the eyes. And I was like, and people, they would break themselves down to the point they would finally say the truth, like, and they will tell everything. But like, because she was just keep looking at them like, okay, looks like in a way, like, I'm still waiting for your answer. I know there is more in that. And this, like, and that's the things, like, silence breaks, like, actually it creates opportunity, and it creates like time for receive all the answer you need from God. And also, God doesn't compete with the noise. He waits for your attention. He's not gonna scream above it, except if you're in an emergency and you might be dying, or like might be doing something super stupid, because that happened to me, and I heard God pretty clear even with the noise around. But the majority of the time, he doesn't scream over it. Majority of the time, when it's just like about wisdom and everything, he just wait for you to search for him and making silence, and then he's gonna speak. If you don't do it, he doesn't speak. He's just sitting there waiting. He's always the same chair waiting for you. But yeah, it's not gonna push it. Anyway, try this for the next 7 days. Give God 10 minutes of silence before you check your phone, and all the other things that I told you before. Journaling, fast some social media, other media, TV, or like maybe anime, if it's something that takes you a lot, and maybe some music, like listens only worship music. Ask him direct question, but and wait for the 10 minutes. And yeah, as I say, journal your prayers. And then you might be really surprised at what you finally hear from just doing this. And yeah, that's 10 minutes a day of silence that you need to do. It's not a lot. You can pray a bit in tongues if you want, but like if you can just like sit in silence, actually you'll be amazed at how much you can hear. And I want to hear from you about that. Like I want you to post it that in the comment. You let me know after you do this. How did it go? How did it felt? Did you can you now hear God more? I'm really curious. If you like this episode of a like marketing, please leave a like. If you have anything else you want me to speak about, leave that ask in the comment. I would love to do that. Until next time, I want you to be blessed. I speak blessing over you, favor over you, and in Jesus' name, see you next episode.